This is the indictment sheet for Manuel Perez, a CBP officer who is charged with several crimes that could land him with decades of prison time. In summation, it's alleged that he accepted a certain amount of money to allow people into the country illegally at his border crossing in Paso del Norte. He essentially was alleged to allow a Nissan Pathfinder through on multiple occasions and also conspired to possess a lot of cocaine. Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary, has already promised he'll be prosecuted. Manuel Perez is charged with abusing his authority as a CBP officer at the Paso del Norte border port of entry. Prosecutors say his crimes date back to 2019. The timeline established by prosecutors starts in detail in December of 2023. CBP officer Manuel Perez is accused of admitting a gray Nissan Pathfinder with an individual in the country illegally in his capacity as a CBP officer. Documents state Perez allowed the same Nissan through in January of 2024, and again on May 11, 2024, he allowed the Nissan through his entry point at Paso del Norte with a second undocumented migrant. According to the documents, later in May, he would inspect the same Nissan. Documents show that in August, he would allow the same vehicle through with a third individual in the country illegally. And finally, documents state that in November 2024, he allowed the Nissan through with 3 undocumented migrants, 2 adults and a minor. As we've reported, Perez is formally charged with 1 count of conspiracy to bring humans to the United States for financial gain, 3 counts of bringing humans to the United States for financial gain, and 1 count of conspiracy to possess a controlled substance with intent to distribute. Investigators say that if convicted, each charge carries its own sentence with the possibility of several years in prison. I wanted to hear from an expert about the nature of these charges in the context of this case.
And that's why I think this case is a little bit more alarming, and why he is charged with so many different crimes is because it looked like it was ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. And the Department of Justice has an opportunity to make an example of it.
Matthew James Kozik is an El Paso defense attorney and former Army prosecutor. He describes the charges, which essentially include conspiracy to acquire and sell cocaine and allowing people into the U.S. illegally, and laying out what Perez faces if convicted.
So the conspiracy to smuggle aliens, that carries a statutory maximum of 5 years. The conspiracy to smuggle aliens for financial gain carries a statutory maximum of 10 years. And the drug charge, which involves 5 kilograms of cocaine, requires a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence if convicted.
CBP declined our request for an interview, but we will keep you updated as this story develops.